Okay, I'm going to show you how to create the eye sculpture here. Okay, you're going to need one of these eye charts. Okay, at your table you'll probably want to grab one of these sculptures from the box up front. You'll obviously need some clay. You'll need a couple of sticks, some tools, and a roller to get started. Okay, I'm going to start by pushing the clay down so it's kind of like a circle. I'll roll it this way. I'll flip it. Roll it this way until I know I've got a large enough square. Okay, so now I can just roll it out the rest of the way. Take my ruler, find 5 inches here, and then I'll cut it up. Okay, now I have my square that I can work with. Alright, next I'm going to draw all the important features on here, and I want to measure them so they're the right size. So for instance, that's 1 3/4 inches for the top, 2 5/8. You could also do metric if you want to. And you're going to draw a map of where everything goes. So once I have everything kind of located, now we can start adding clay. Okay? And this gives me the depth, so the height of everything. So this is 0, and this is the maximum height, that tip of the nose. And then this will give me kind of where everything is placed. Now when I add clay, I do it real loosely, okay? And I don't worry about smoothing things out until the end, okay? So I'm just putting gobs of clay in places. This is a much better technique than smoothing it all out, okay? You can smooth it all out at the end, but for now, you're trying to figure out just the mass, okay? So this is the high part. This is the high part of the eyebrow. Okay, so that's the high part of the eyebrow. Right there. So I'm going to put more clay there. And then it kind of tapers down as it gets over here. So this side should be kind of hitting the ground here, and it should go up. What's interesting about the face too is that the eyeball kind of bulges up a little bit, and then so does this cheek. So we got to add some for the cheek here. Here we're putting clay in the spaces so everything kind of relates to each other, kind of like hills and valleys. So you got hills here and valleys here. You always have a hill next to a valley. Okay. Now when it comes to the eye, you have to realize that there's a kind of a cavity here. So it's kind of like if you cup your hand like this, okay, and the eyeball sits in the socket kind of like a ball in the palm of your hand, like that, okay. And then what makes this, so you have a hill, and then it goes into a valley. That's the eye socket, and a hill that comes into the valley of this part of the eye socket. And then you have the ball that kind of rounds up, and then you have the eyelids. Okay, to make the eyelids, I just make a couple of snakes like this, and just to demonstrate. Okay, so this is the eye socket. Here's the cheek. Here's the eyebrow, and I'm going to lay in the top lid and the bottom lid. Okay. And so you want on your sculpture the eyebrow to come around, come into this valley here, and then the cheek to come around, creating a valley, and then you put your eye in there like that. Okay. Now this sticks up way too much, So I'm actually going to slice it in half to kind of make it flatter here. So just like that. I'm going to stick that in there. Kind of fill in around it. And now, as soon as you get that eye in there, it kind of starts to come to life. Now this part of the eyelid is the toughest because there's the eyelid right here, and then right above it there's this kind of fat, there's a little bit of skin and fat up here that also kind of fills in this area above it and kind of makes that crease right there. Okay, so you should have a crease here and another crease here, and again try and so you should have a crease like right there especially. Now I can start to smooth it out and add more to it to fill up the space. See, smoothing is kind of an easy thing to do in modeling. Okay, that nose is a little bit bigger. Again, just mush it right on top. That's going to help. It's going to smooth it out. Okay. Now when I smooth it, I smooth the bottom part of on the eye. The top lid should go over the bottom lid, and so I'm going to just add a little bit more to this and kind of smooth it out. Put that over the top like that, then smooth it out here. And as you can see, I'm getting really close to this picture here, and even, it's very similar to the picture right now. I'd still go in and smooth this up a bit, check to make sure my heights are correct, so the nose, eyebrow, and actually cheek, eyeball, make sure that's happening in the right order. Put any sort of markings on the face, try and texture the skin a little bit. But then it's just about finding details and making sure you're recreating them as close to the picture as possible.